old-fashioned non-nuclear war. I'm not sure that would end the world, but asteroid and climate change at number one.
Yeah, yeah. We agree that all of this is bad.
All of this
Yeah.
is possible.
Well, up next, I asked physicist Stephen Hawking about the future of our minds when Star Talk returns. Welcome back to Star Talk from the American Museum of Natural History. We're featuring my interview with famed physicist Stephen Hawking. Check it out. So, Stephen, if we ever really develop the technology to upload your brain into some computer, providing life after death, or at least consciousness after death, would you be first to sign up for that?
My body hardly works at all because I have motor neuron disease, otherwise known as ALS. So getting rid of it would be no loss and would spare me discomfort. Being immortal as solely a brain, I could see the future unless I was terminated by someone switching off the computer or by a computer virus.
Well, I hadn't thought about that. Right, if you're a computer, you're susceptible.
You could have copies.
Oh, you just make a backup of yourself.
Yeah, make a backup.
So, Micho, the title of your book, The Future of Mind, the scientific quest to understand, enhance, and empower the mind. When will uploading our brain become a reality?
Well, just remember that
If at all.
digital immortality is starting now.
So this is an example of what's going on here.
That's right. Telepathy, telekinesis, uploading memories, recording dreams. We can, quote, do all of the above. This is no longer science fiction. You go to the physics laboratories and you can see how images can be extracted from the human brain. How it's possible now that we can upload memories in animals and record memories from animals because physics can now probe thoughts as they go ricocheting through the brain.
Is what you're describing the same thing as consciousness? Because if that's the case, then we can say it's not just our thoughts that live forever, it's our very identity, our self, our conscious self that lives forever.
Well, there is a theory that says the soul. The soul is information. It's a vast amount of information, but nonetheless, it's information that can be put into holographic form, such that even if you pass away, something there survives.
But theoretically, that is effectively immortality. Once you reach that point, that is you living forever.
Why not have digital immortality? Wouldn't you want to talk to your great-great-great-great-great-grandkids who want to meet their great-great-great-great ancestor?
It depends what they're like.
This gives you movement throughout time and throughout space. So this is being godlike.
Well, that's what we're talking about, transcending the human race.
Because I asked Stephen Hawking about his thoughts on the future of religion, just to get his sense of this spirituality going forward. Let's check it out. So, Stephen, religion has been around for thousands of years, and it long predates science. And in spite of the effort of modern ardent atheists, religion persists. So, do you have any sense of what religion will be in the future of civilization?
Religion was an early attempt to answer the questions we all ask. Why are we here? Where did we come from? Nowadays, science provides better and more consistent answers, but people will always cling to religion because it gives comfort, and they do not trust or understand science.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking is imagining that any time you didn't understand something and ascribed it to deity, science would then fix that for you. But there's the rest of what people use religion for, the spiritual fulfillment and the rest of this. And it's not obvious that science has solutions to that going forward.
Don't you feel a sort of surge of excitement
all
and
the
a
time.
thrill and the connection
Yes.
to the universe, just to know that even though we're stuck on this silly little rock, that we're able to know that much?
Oh, yeah.
That's stunning. That
I'm
we're
deeply
able to
moved.
look. Yeah, it is. It is deeply moving. So this whole kind of notion that that, oh, it leaves you feeling cold and sterile, that there is this scientific thinking, has been the opposite of my personal experience with it.
Yeah, I think we're hardwired that way. Evolution has given us a brain to be receptive to awe, to receptive to beauty, and that's why there's a God gene, because we are genetically programmed to believe in superstition, because that's the way it has always been, even today.
Touch wood.
Before science came along.
Touch wood.
That's right.
knock on wood. Knock on wood. Be true. Well, coming up, the one and only Stephen Hawking offers some life lessons for us all. Next on Star Talk. Welcome back to Star Talk from the American Museum of Natural History. And we're featuring my interview with legendary physicist Stephen Hawking. But I wanted to hear more about Stephen Hawking's perspective on life. And so I asked him, who's his favorite non-scientist? Check it out.
A few years ago, I would have said Nelson Mandela. He brought a peaceful solution to a seemingly impossible situation. There is no one of his stature today. Certainly not Donald Trump.
Whoa.
Do you have an answer to this question?
Favorite non... Yeah.
You're going to get in trouble, whatever you say.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go home.
No, my favorite... No, my wife is a scientist, so...
Oh, that's
Yeah, she has a PhD in mathematical physics.
So
like,
there.
Like Neil would marry a non-scientist.
Oh, okay, you know what I would say? Vincent van Gogh. His painting, The Starry Night, in 1889, is artwork that was given a name not for what he drew in the foreground or the midground. It was named for what appeared in the background. There's a village. He could have called it Sleepy Village or Cypress Tree or Rolling Hills. But no, the universe was speaking to him more loudly than his foreground. And out of that came the title, The Starry Night. And you look at that painting, it's obviously not what he saw, because the real universe doesn't look like that, but you know it is what he felt. He drew what the universe felt like. And I am a fan of all the ways that artists can be touched by not only science in general, but the universe in particular. This is my man, Vincent van Gogh.
Good, huh?
Before we wrap up this segment, and before we wrap up the show, I have a dispatch from my good friend Bill Nye, the science guy. And he's going to give us his thoughts on the big ideas proposed by physicists like the great Stephen Hawking. Check it out.
Our curiosity brings us to places like this, the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles, California. Here we look through these telescopes and ponder the cosmos and our place within it. And it's one thing to think about the cosmos, but it's another thing to realize that the cosmos is different now than when I started talking. It's changing. I mean, we think of the cosmos in terms of space, we think of it in terms of time, but in astrophysics, we think of it in terms of space-time. I mean, moving through space seems straightforward enough, but moving through time, that's a tricky one. It's been speculated that there are yet undescribed particles of time, tiny bits of time. And if they turn out to be real, they will be discovered out there in the cosmos. So tonight, go outside and have a look. There's time. Back to you, Neil.
Bill Nye. So, Micho, I've not heard of this. Is this particles of time? Is this real?
Well, you can look at it as gravitons.
So they are kind of to the force of gravity what photons are to electromagnetic force.
Exactly. A photon is a particle of light. A graviton is a particle of gravity. And when the graviton becomes big enough, it becomes a universe, giving us a multiverse of universes.
So what you're saying is that what Bill might have been talking about as particles of time are just particles
Of space-time.
Of space-time,
That's
where
right.
space and time are wrapped together.
That's right.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, in my final clip with Stephen Hawking, I asked him if he would just share with me some parting words of wisdom. Check it out. So over the course of your life, you've had a sort of unique perspective on science, on technology, endurance. If you sort of sum that together and offer some insight for us, any lessons that we can take with us?
We must all do the best we can in whatever situation we are in. Never give up.
Never give up. Clearly, that advice applies to us all. It's a privilege to spend this time with you. Thanks for your thoughts and your insights and being a source of inspiration to us all.
Thank you.
How could you not just wonder what's going on inside this guy's head? I think our greatest gift as a species is not our body. We're not the fastest, we're not the strongest. Our body hardly distinguishes itself in any way in the animal kingdom. Our greatest sort of gift in the tree of life is our mind. And perhaps no one knows that better than Stephen Hawking. And so much so that he does not take his mind for granted, enabling him to go places that we might never even dream of, simply because he has power of mind where he has power from no other part of his body. So maybe it is we who are imprisoned, thinking our body matters, when in fact, at the end of the day, it's really all about your thoughts, all about your dreams, all about how we react to our life experience in this world and share it with others. That is a cosmic perspective. You've been watching Star Talk. And I've been your host, Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal astrophysicist.